I got into music throughout high school and elementary school. I was playing instruments and always loved music. And I went to Full Sail and ended up pursuing an education in music. And I realized that a real career is possible. My mom was very influential in pushing me to just make a life for myself that would make me happy every day that I woke up. And that was always my inspiration, was to find the thing that I loved most and do that every day. And that was music. The album that made me really want to pursue music was Dr. Dre, Chronic 2001. And that album to me sounded so far ahead of its time. I think Dre was the first one who I really understood what a producer was. I didn't know what mixing was or anything like that, but I just knew that this album sounded different from every other album that I had heard prior to it. I started my career in New York, and New York is one of those cities that just, sharpens the blade. Growing up, I had a really eclectic taste in music, and I still have an eclectic taste in music. And so when I started my career, it was a lot of hip hop, and that's what I really loved at the time. And then I started to transition more into pop music, and then eventually a lot of dance music. Now I'm fortunate because I understand basically all the genres, all types of contemporary music. I've worked with the Chainsmokers, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kanye, Rihanna. I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of the artists and producers who I grew up sort of idolizing, actually. Starting a project is usually pretty simple. Once I have the files, I load up the session, I listen to it once, and then I just start going, and all of that just becomes sort of intuitive. I know exactly what I'm trying to achieve before I dig into the mix. Like, I know these drums are gonna need some work, or these vocals, they're not right now. We gotta adjust those.
You a sip of cocoa in the blazing heat. Once I get you open, I'ma take a drink. Everything you do just keep amazing me. You know you got my favorite flavor, baby. It's been a while since you heard me say, my everything.
I was first introduced to Genelec speakers at my first internship with Duro in New York. As I learned how to mix a record, my ears were just adjusted to Genelec, and I always liked them, and that room sounded so perfect in my mind. Like, it was the best sounding room I had ever been in. At that point, I had just fallen in love with the speakers and still using them to this day. As the studios in New York started to close and more time was spent working on music from home, that posed a bit of a problem because most of our homes are not tuned or treated or anything like that. And so several years went by, and eventually Genelec introduced the SAM technology, and I tried these pair of 8351s, and I tuned them to my room, and it fixed so many of the problems that were in the room before. For me, it was just a no-brainer. What I love about the 8351s in different environments is when I'm mixing at home, I tune them, and as a general rule, the GLM software will try to tune the monitors as flat as possible. And every room has a different shape and a different sound, and so that's a different tuning for every room. No matter what room I go to, if I have 8351s and they are tuned to the room, I am going to have nearly an identical sound in just about every room that I work in. And that to me is just invaluable, especially in this era where I'm moving around a lot and mixes are all happening on a laptop. The workflow for setting up the monitors for me was actually quite easy. It's as simple as a couple Ethernet cables that plug into a little USB box that plugs into your computer, and you just plug in a little mic and just put it right in front of your face and just hit the calibrate button. And in about 1 minute, 30 seconds maybe, it sweeps the room on both monitors. Calibration starts happening and it's done. And then you have the option of going in and editing it if you want to adjust. Maybe you like a little more low end, or you like your monitors to be a little brighter, or adjust for overall volume levels. So you make your final little adjustments, and within a few minutes, I've got a tuned room. Every room is different. And so what I love about the SAM calibration is you can customize it to every single room and every single taste. And every engineer, every mixer, every producer has their own taste in what they want out of a monitor. I've always had the philosophy that a mix is just a bunch of audio and how my ears interpret that audio. In that whole process, the one piece of gear that is really relevant is the speakers, because the speakers translate what's happening in the box for my ears and brain to interpret. I've always had an affinity for the shape of the sound that comes out of Genelec monitors. And that translates best for the music that I make and for the artists that I work with.